Welcome back to the Leeds Rhinos Podcast, episode 37. It's a Monday, so it's our match review, and we're looking back on the big win against Leigh Leopards last Friday and looking ahead to a massive game this weekend on Sunday when we travel across the Sewell Group Craven Park to face the league leaders, Hull KR. Delighted to be joined by our star fullback, Lachie Miller, making his third appearance. Gets to take the match ball home with him today for that hat-trick. My name's Phil Daly. I'm the head of media and PR here at Leeds Rhinos. And Lachie, looking back to that win on Friday, 48 points to 30, high scoring affair. We sort of thought going into the game it was going to be like, because that's the way Leigh play, but just how tough was it out there against an opposition who likes to attack from anywhere?
Yeah, they're very good. We knew that they were pretty much at full strength. We knew they were going to be a very good team, and we had to bounce back from that disappointing loss to Saints. But the whole game, even when we were always in front, but you know that they can put points on from anywhere, and so I never really felt safe. But I knew that we had the points in us. We just and normally we have the defense in us, but obviously it was a free-flowing game. I thought it was a really good game. I watched it back. I thought it was good to watch, but some fix-ups there. But yeah, they're very good, and we had to keep our eye on them.
You talk about a defence wasn't up to where it normally is. Is that a consequence of how the game pans out, do you think? I mean, there will be things we can fix up, things we could have done better, but actually when you get into a back and forth game like that, some of the systems don't necessarily work how you would expect them to.
Yeah, obviously there's some things that we need to take from that into this game this weekend, especially being such a big game. But I also thought, in my opinion, the ref should have probably got a bit of a rap. He let when the ruck got fast, he let the ruck go, and that's why we're seeing so many points. I think obviously when it's fast like that, the faster players, like even for their team, like Mbappe was coming into it, his running game, and then we were getting some free flowing ball. So when the ruck got fast, he let it get fast, and I think that's why we're seeing points. And obviously, the tackle control wasn't quite there from both teams, and then it's hard to defend. Your systems sort of go out of whack a little bit. So, it was a little bit the way the game panned out, but I also thought that the ref did a really good job.
Yeah, you talk about letting it go. They look at the average play the ball speed for Leigh. They were slightly quicker than us, 3.52. We were 3.54, but that is fast compared to most weeks, is it?
Yeah, it's very fast, and you could feel it out there. Like you might win one or two, and then as soon as someone won the tackle, obviously it's two very high quality teams, third and fourth. There's going to be some quick play the balls. There's some good players on the field. So once someone sort of won one tackle, the next one, it was just a domino effect. And then some tired bodies out there, but lucky we came out with the win.
And you got across for a try as well. Set up nicely by some quick thinking by Harry Newman. We'll talk about Harry and his contribution throughout the game a bit later on. But just to give people an insight, so that ball comes from Leigh on the attack. Lachlan Lamb spills it. Harry reacts quickly. At what point are you thinking, I need to get on my heels here and get there in case Harry gives me that pass? What's the sort of split second decision making there?
As a fullback, as a spine player, actually, you should always be in and around the ball for support. But last week, Hawley made that intercept against Saints, and there wasn't one Leeds shirt in the picture, whereas the 13 or whatever rounds before, we've always had 5 or 6 jerseys in the picture. So when Harry got that ball, I was only thinking one thing is just head down and get there. And if something comes of it, it comes of it. And I was just lucky enough. He was good enough to get the offload away. And lucky there was no one fast chasing me, because otherwise I would have been in a bit of trouble.
And what's it like? So you got that round about halfway line, you take that pass from Harry. Some players say that everything just zones out, or are you able to, because the whole stadium's erupting because they see what's happening? Can you hear that, or is it just head down going for the line?
At the start when I got the ball was I could still see a player just there, and once I got past him, I you can let everything else come in. But that initial part where you got to do your job first, catch the ball and beat the first player, and then after that I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, mentioned Harry there. He was a real live wire all game for them. He seems to be getting into his stride now.
Yeah, very much. Obviously, Harry's always been such a good player. He's had so much talent, and then this year, especially the past sort of 6 weeks, I think he's really worked on his professionalism, his commitment, and we're seeing the rewards. He's obviously such a good defensive centre, and that goes unnoticed, I think. He does a lot of work for us out on that edge, but then he's obviously so, as I touched on before, athletic. His ability to beat players, skip across, he's strong, he's fast. So he's been very good, but the good thing about Harry is he can be so much better as well. So I think we haven't seen the best of him, which is exciting.
And another try coming off a good kick routine, good kicking across. Hawley getting in between two of their defenders, knocking down to Harry for the try, just shows all that work I know you do in training and everything else comes off in a game.
Yeah, and obviously we work pretty hard on, as in me and Jake and Brody, work quite hard on our kicking game. I think Jake and Brody have been very, very good this year with our end of sets. We have the ability to run on last because of the players that we have out wide that can kick it if it gets to them. But yeah, in that scenario, we just went to run it. It didn't happen, so we kicked it, and Hawley was good enough to get it to Harry, and Harry scored.
Brilliant stuff. You mentioned there about the defence not being where 50 missed tackles overall for ourselves. Leigh had 42, but the discipline was, I think you were saying there about the referee, the penalty count was just 3-2 in Leigh's favour, but I think that showed that both teams were looking to play the game. There wasn't much intention around that sort of wrestle around the ruck. It was a fairly clean ruck and getting the game going.
Yeah, obviously I've sort of already said what I thought about him. I thought he was really good. I'm not sure if the Leigh fans will agree or not, but I thought he was good. But yeah, and on the flip side of that, we need to be better when the game does start flowing like that. I think we pride ourselves on letting the game flow, and it did flow and we missed too many tackles. So no doubt that will be a focus for us this week, fixing that area up, because if we go into the game this week and miss that many tackles against the top team, we won't get the results we're after. So that'll be our big focus, I'd say, but I'm not the coach, so.
And we got 48 points, but it could have been a couple more as well. I thought Alfie Edger was really unlucky with that. He did a fantastic effort in the corner. And then your break just after half-time where you found Cam and just one pass short. And I think it was James McDonald then came onto a short pass from Crofty. And if he catches that, it's a certain try, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly. I've watched Alfie's a fair few times, and I don't really know what more he can do. It's just I thought it was a try. I still think it's a try, but it's just one of those things. I think that what was really important, we all watched it and we all seen it and we all thought it was a try, but what was really important that we reacted straight away. They obviously got a 20 tap, which was 7 tackles. We reacted and defended, so didn't get our heads down or anything like that. But yeah, there was obviously, we left some points out there, but I think what's important and what's good for us is that we did score. We did ice a lot of those tries. Jake's kicking as well. 8 from 8 is pretty special, which is something that we haven't been at the top of our form with. But yeah, in the past, we haven't been scoring that many points. We haven't been icing those tries. I thought that we definitely scored more than we were left out there this week, which is good.
Definitely. You mentioned Jake there. We win by 18 points. 16 of those come off Jake's. But how important is it to turn those 4 into 6 every time that keeps the scoreboard ticking over?
Yeah, very important. Obviously, in that game there, we see a lot of we won by sort of what he kicked. But then in the tighter games, it could be, the grand final last year, I think it was 8-2. So those little margins really count. It's a very high pressure position. You can go to training, as I'm sure Jake will tell you, you can go to training, you can knock them over from left, right and centre, but when you get out in the field, you're fatigued, you've run a lot and the crowd's behind you. It is a hard job. So he's doing really well, and he's got to keep that 100% up, mate.
And just to mention on Leigh, I thought David Armstrong suffered that knee injury early on when he was tackled by Alfie Edger, but he soldiered on, showed incredible bravery to finish that first half and keep, Adrian Lau, when he was talking after the game, said that he kept him on because he didn't want to upset his interchange policy too much. But incredible, even with all that strapping on it, at one point he made a really great break down the south stand side, showed how tough a character he is. He's really lit up Super League this year.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Obviously, I played with him at Newcastle and I had a lot of fun with him. He's so fast, and his instincts, it's just like second to none. The gaps that he can get through, I don't think many other people can get through. But him getting injured was not a good thing for them, but it also, someone that good, if they get injured, it's always a good thing for the opposition. So hopefully he's all right. I spoke to him after the game. He said maybe not as good, but fingers crossed it's speedy, because it's just better watching players like that in the game. You'd rather them on the field.
Absolutely. Looking at the tackle count, James McDonald took over top spot from Jared O'Connor this week. Jared's had that to his own for a long time now, but Macca came at 39 tackles, Jared 34, Cam 32. Runs as normal, you're top of that one with 17, Callum 16, and Mick with 12. And we'll come on to Mick and his special occasion. You came with top meter maker, 281, Callum 153, and Mick with 122. We mentioned Mick there, gets his first try for over 2 years. Didn't quite look like he knew how to celebrate a try quite at the end there, especially in front of all the Leigh fans.
I watched the thing that you guys put up, and it's like, yes. He like can't believe it. It was funny, but Mick's been so good doing his job, and it's nice that he got a try, because he's our leader in the pack, and he's been doing such a good job taking it to some of the best forwards in the comp, and in my opinion, he's right up there as the best prop at the moment. So it's good for him to get a reward, and I'm pretty sure he enjoyed it, as we all seen. Yeah,
there's a moment where Jake gives him the ball, and it's an open just corridor to the try line, and there's a split second where he thinks, I need to pass this to someone, and then he makes the decision, no, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, he's a funny fella. He just had no idea what to do, but as I said, just good for him to get the rewards.
Well, it could be like buses. Now he's got one, maybe a hat trick this week, and
you never know.
He'll fully know how to celebrate on that occasion. In terms of we mentioned Mick there and good form. There's an England squad being announced later today. We're not quite sure who's in that, but I know there's going to be a good handful of Leeds players there. It's great for those lads to get the recognition from the international coach, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. If it was up to me, I'd be picking more than a handful. I think we've got some really good players in our team at the moment. They're in form, which is a compliment to them, but it's also a compliment to us and our club, our team, because if you're not going good, you might get one or two in there, maybe, if you're lucky. But if you're going well, obviously, people are in form, people are playing in a good system. They're more likely to get picked. So it's really good for those players, but it's also a compliment to all of us as a club that we're heading in the right direction.
And having been over here for a couple of years now and seen these England players up close to the ones who are playing in Super League at least, do you think England's got what it takes to challenge the Aussies this year in the Ashes?
I think so. Obviously, it's hard because those NRL players, they get the Australian players, they get the luxury of playing those three big games before it, because obviously they play the State of Origin, and more than likely all the players that are in the Aussie team come from that. So they get to play those three games, and then they come together at the end of the year. And they've obviously been so dominant for so long, but we've seen what can happen. Obviously, they had such a good team. I can't remember what it was, and New Zealand beat them in the grand final. So anything happened, but I think it's a really good thing. This Ashes series, I'm looking forward to it. And we're actually going to stay over here, so I'll be able to go watch some of them. But I think it'll be a really good contest, especially over here. It's hard to play over here, and the fans behind England, I think it'll be a good series.
And that third test here at AMT Headingley, if the series on the line at that point, it could be Headingley packed full of passionate England fans. It could be something special. Yeah,
it could be really cool. I do hope it's like tied and we're coming into a decider at Headingley. That would be awesome.
Yeah, great stuff. And you're going to leave here. You've got the annual club golf day later on. You're a handy man with the clubs, I understand.
Not really, but I try my best. I think, what is it, like 30 degrees today? I'm just going out there to get sunburn, I think. But no, it'll be a good day. Get to be around and mingle with the sponsors who put so much into the club. So it's a great day.
Yeah, up at Leeds Golf Centre at White Ridge, it's going to be a good day. I think some people might deliberately be hacking it into the rough to try and get a bit of shade in the heat. At least that'll be their excuse anyway. I'm sure there'll be plenty of refreshments on hand. Looking ahead to this weekend, Hull KR there's not much that hasn't been said about Hull KR this season. They've been a dominant force in Super League. We had a really close game against them here earlier in the season. What are you expecting on Sunday?
I think one thing about Hull KR is that they are super consistent at what they do. They don't force their arm. They don't do anything too crazy. They're just back how good they are, and they'll kick you into a corner and they'll bash you up, and then see how good they'll sort of give you the ball and say, see how good you are to get out of your own end. So they're a very good team, very well disciplined. But we did see that when we brought our A game against them here, it was a really good game. We were still working on some things, and at the end of the game, we let them score twice or something in the final 10 minutes, which is just not good enough, and it was really disappointing because I thought we were the better team for most of it. But obviously, you can't be a good team for 60 or 70 minutes. You have to be a good team for 80 minutes, which is what they are. So they deserved that win last game. But if we bring our our A game and we match them for 80 minutes, it'll be a very good game. Obviously, it's hard to play down there, but it's also hard to play at Headingley, and they got us, so maybe we owe them one. Yeah,
it feels like we're in a really exciting passage of the season here. Obviously, our game against Leigh at last weekend, we're at Hull KR. Wigan play Leigh this weekend, and then I think Leigh have got Hull KR the weekend after that. We've got Saints here. It feels like it's sort of moving times in the table, and people are really trying to cement those playoff positions at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty important block for us. Obviously, we had Saints last week, which was a bit disappointing, but they're such a good team. Doesn't matter who's playing for them; they're so hard. This week we had Leigh, who are third, and then we get to play the best team in the comp this weekend, which is a good test for us. But obviously, if you want to win, you have to beat everyone. So it'd be really good to get on a bit of a roll again. Obviously, we went 5 in a row, lost that game, and then it'd be good to start it again and head into Saints. On the back of 2 wins would be something special, but it's going to be tough this weekend.
We had a lot of talk in build up to last week's game about Edwin Apapa and how key he was for Leigh. Is Jez Litton someone who gets perhaps overlooked in the importance he is to Hull KR, because Mikey Lewis is obviously the superstar, but Litton does so much work for them on behalf, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, we don't really overlook him. I don't think he's so crafty out of 9. If you don't get your markers right, he'll just go straight through you. He's fast. I think he's a very good player. His service is very good, and he's got a good kicking game. So, he will definitely be on the tip sheet because he's probably one of the best 9s going around at the moment. I think he's very crafty. So, maybe gets underlooked, but he's very good. So, got to keep our eye on him.
And that matchup between Mikey Lewis and Jake Connor is one that is worth the entrance fee alone. See how those two go at each other for 80 minutes.
Yeah, no, I like sitting at fullback because I get to see it all pan out. But they're both very good players. Mikey's obviously a very good runner of the ball, running halfback. He's got a great kicking game, and then Jake's got the best hands I've ever seen with his pass selection. So very good game. Key matchup. They're on the same side as well, so it'll be exciting, and you wouldn't want to miss it.
And great to see Reece back in action after his injury layoff. He'll no doubt want a big game against his former teammates.
Yeah, what a coincidence he comes back 1 week before us. No, it's good. It's really good to see. Obviously, he's such a good person. You don't want those sort of injuries to happen to anyone, let alone the good guys. But he's back. He's fit and he's healthy, and it's just good to have him back in the game.
Brilliant stuff. Well, make sure that you get over to Sewell Group Craven Park on Sunday to support the boys. Tickets still available from the Rhinos ticket office and coach travel too. Get over there. Let's have a big contingent of Rhinos fans over there to cheer them on. No doubt it'll be a packed house. Hull KR selling out every week here in Super League. So make sure you get over and support the boys. Make sure you subscribe to Leeds Rhinos. Stay in touch with all our latest podcasts. There's lots of great content out there. We've got Box 2 in association with Best Western GB Hotel. Farewells out now. There's a new one coming out later in this week with Phil Daly, the ex-Leeds Tykes director of rugby, who's now a key man at World Rugby in rugby union, coming up with all the laws in rugby union. There's great insight into how those laws come about. He also reveals how he nearly became a rugby league player earlier in his career when he was a Welsh rugby union international. So check that out later in the week. We've also got the knock-on effect. The latest episode came out just last week with Tom Nicholson and Jared O'Connor chatting to Ethan Clarkwood. Some interesting stuff. And I understand, exclusive news, that you've agreed a high fee to be the third guest on the Knock On podcast.
If you have to put up with Jared for an hour, you have to have a high fee.
Exactly, yeah. Tom, if you think you've got to do it for an hour, how much are we paying Tom to sit there every week with him? But that'll be interesting. I'm sure you'll keep the boys in line on that one. So make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with all our latest podcasts. Do give us a 5-star review so we can continue to climb those podcast charts and spread all the news about Leeds Rhinos and what's great about rugby league to the public. We've got some fantastic action coming up. Make sure you get over to Hull Car this weekend to cheer on the boys, and then we've got a double header of action on the following week when St Helens are in town at AMT Headingley for both the women and the men's team. Tickets are available now. That's going to be a cracking night. It is always a great night when Saints are in town. Saints women had a dramatic draw with Wigan at the weekend there, so no doubt that game sets things up nicely for Lois Forsell and her team when Saints are in town in a fortnight's time. So make sure you get all your tickets and be there. We've got our special question and answer edition coming up on Thursday this week, when we'll have the man behind Oxen, Lee Jenkinson, the CEO of Oxen, joining us. So send us in your questions for anything kit related to info@therhinos.co.uk, or leave a comment below and we'll put those questions to Lee. Lee, someone who knows the sports industry inside out, used to work here at the Rhinos many moons ago, so knows the Rhinos as well. Send in your questions and we'll get those questions to Lee and find out what's happening there. Oxen, great partners of the club, aren't they? I know you've dealt with a lot of them over the years, Lachie.
Yeah, no, they're very good. I love their kit. I love their stuff. I wear their boots in every game. I think they're great boots, and the best thing about them is they're great people. Lee and Shane, they're just really good people, and it's just good to see how good their brand's going.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I'm fascinated about the whole boot side of thing. They've diversified from just doing kit into boots, and they're making big waves over in Australia now as well, following on from what they've done here with the likes of yourself, Lachie. So that'll be fascinating to hear how that fits into their whole business model going forward. So do send us in your questions for Lee and we'll put them to him. In the meantime, thanks for joining us, Lachie. We can't wait for Sunday over at Saul Group Craven Park. It's going to be a classic game, I'm sure. We'll all enjoy it, and we'll see you on Thursday for the Q&A edition. Have a good week. Stay safe in the sun, and we'll see you soon.